What's happening, illuminated pandas? Peter Von Panda here. Hey, just got this. It's the Wowtac A3 LED flashlight, and want to show it to you. I really love the Wowtac stuff. They just really have made high quality things. But this review is not only going to be just a look of the form and function, but also we are going to test the Wowtac to the extreme. Comes with a clip here. Nice metal construction. Like I said, everything from Wowtac really comes in a very, very high quality. Used to be A Tactical, so same company. Two extra O-rings here, and everything you need right out of the box. And here is the flashlight. Now, you can see how it has kind of this castling edge, big glass round lens there. A little bit, it's a little cold. It's hidden down in the basement, and all solid aluminum construction. You can see the notches here, kind of four-sided with the button there. Wowtac A3 knurling down the handle, knurling on the back end of it, and no rubberized button on the back. So this is kind of looks like this is the only button to control it. So, and then you can put the clip on there as well, which we will do because we want it in all its glory. Open it up here. You can see the O-ring right there for waterproof protection. Little paper gasket in there to keep the battery from discharging. 2600 milliamp hour 18650 battery included, which is awesome. And then you can see here there's a little micro USB port so that you can charge the battery directly in this case. So it plugs in right there, and then there's a little LED light that lights up to show you that it's charging. But what I really like about that is you don't have little gaskets, are you putting this in the right way, on the outside of the flashlight to charge it. You might say, hey, that's not an advantage, Pete. That's a disadvantage, but I actually like the fact that you charge the battery directly, because now I don't have to worry about water getting into the flashlight because the cover isn't plugged in properly or something like that. So you charge the battery directly. I think that's a really cool little innovation, and it also means that you don't have to have like a separate charger for it, which are pretty quick. But you've got micro USB cables everywhere, especially when you're out and about or on a long trip or whatever, and you don't want to have to worry about bringing an extra cable. There's a or extra charger. There's a little pass-through hole right there, so you could attach a lanyard. I don't think there's anything else in this box, just instructions. So now that it's turned on, or now that we have the battery plugged in here, let's just see what this little bad boy can do. All right, so the battery was dead, so I charged it up and put it in here, and it's now working. I am going to put this clip on here. I want to give this thing, a test with all of its accessories. So I'm going to kind of force this clip on this end here and just squeeze it on. And man, it's tight. Don't want to clip my skin in there, but as you can see, it's nice that it's on there so securely. A couple other things. I showed you that the back unscrews. It also unscrews right here. This is where that second O-ring is, so you can access the battery or the back of the light element this way. You can actually unload the battery right there. So tighten that back up, and then there's also a zoomable hood here, so you can actually zoom in and out, and it seems to give you kind of infinite zoom. The travel is probably a quarter inch or so, but that's kind of nice, and it's pretty slow and deliberate, so it's kind of nice. Seems like nice and watertight, but we are going to test the heck out of that. Now, to turn it on, you just click it once. Now, I'm going to click it off to turn it off here, and I kind of left it on low mode, right? So, not FOMO, low mode. So it's on right now. Now I'm going to turn it off because I want to show you that if I hold it down for a couple seconds to turn it on, it goes to like the super low mode, which is kind of, I guess, their light mode. It seems a little bit brighter than most Firefly modes, which I'm not surprised because these Wowtac flashlights are a lot of light for their size. They punch in a really high weight class, and they just tend to have been kind of a head and shoulders above in terms of quality across the board. So if I hold it down, that's how you step up the light. So we're kind of from low to medium, hold it down again to high, definitely getting pretty bright. If I hold it down again, now we go to low. So that's how you get to through the light modes. And then you just click it off. Now if I double click it, we go to turbo mode, and this is like a very bright, this is very, very bright. And here's where, you can adjust the beam. And if we kind of go back to some lower modes here. You can kind of see what that looks like. Let's go to the highest one here, and then just double click to the highest. So seems like a super capable flashlight. Let's go ahead and just experience this out in the dark, just so we can get a baseline for what it looks like in the dark, and then we will start torture testing the heck out of this thing. Outside, pitch black out here, pretty much. I'm going to power on the flashlight here, and actually I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to hold down the button here to go in the low light mode, so you can kind of see that first. So, you know, this is kind of the easy way to get it on. Get it on. It's kind of lighting up a 3-foot diameter circle in front of me. This would be perfect for kind of manipulating in a tent, around a campsite, reading a map, those types of things. So, oops, and let me turn it back on right to that level again. And now I'm going to hold it down here, step up the light a little bit. You can kind of see it stepping up, step it up again, and it goes all the way back down. So I'm going to step it up once here, kind of to the middle level, and then I'm going to zoom it out. And it's actually easy to kind of manipulate the hood one-handed, because there's some resistance, but it's not like too terribly tough. Now I will tell you that it's lighting up stuff very, very nicely, right? Let's go ahead and step it up another half step. You know what I've noticed is that, just like a lot of flashlights, if you're holding it down, you know, the 2 seconds to step up to the next level, but it's been at that state for more than a few seconds, it's going to go down. So if you're kind of trying to scroll up through the light settings, you have to do it actually pretty quickly in order. But this is very, very, very bright, man. Let me kind of narrow the beam here, and you can see plenty of illumination to illuminate trees out there, the lawn. Even if I brighten it up, it's gonna give me a little false impression of, because it's lighting up things in front of me so much. But you can obviously see the grass out there, and then, you know, I can, you know, right now, the way I have it from my eyes, I'm lighting up the tree and the grass in a way that I could be, you know, surveilling the lawn here without a problem. It's a little more dimmer on camera, that's for sure, but when I narrow beam it, the trees out there are super well illuminated. I could definitely use that for looking for clowns out in the woods. Okay, so let me quick double click it here, because I want to go up to widen out the beam, double click it, and go up to the turbo mode. And very, very bright. Now it is a smaller flashlight, so we wouldn't expect the output of other ones. I don't know what this advertises in terms of lumens, but I'm kind of guessing in the 800 or 1000 range. You know, and if I pull that sucker into the pencil beam, right, you know, perfect illumination on these trees and things like that. But even if I pull it out like this, now I probably have a 20 or 30 yard wide pattern out there that's all illuminated. If you're in the cone of illumination on this, I can see everything just fine. I mean, it doesn't really, you know, the edges are super well defined out there. I mean, it's like a circle, and so if you're in that circle, I can see everything just fine. If you're out of that circle, it gets pretty dark. So it's kind of a really nice, you know, high quality lens. Now, that being said, right, this is going to be a great flashlight, no doubts about it. It's very small, and, you know, Wowtac always makes impressive things. But one of the things that I haven't done, you know, just because I haven't wanted to destroy a $20 or $30 or $40 flashlight, is really torture test these. So let's do this. The first one, you know, because Wowtac and a lot of tactical flashlights talk about how impact resistant they are. So let's go ahead and just kind of torture test it and see how it handles. A bag of water here, and we're going to go to the extreme. We're not going to fool around with you know, the easy tests and spray it with a water bottle or something. I'm just going to submerge it in this water in this Ziploc bag, and I'm going to seal this bad boy up and put it in the freezer overnight. Let's see if we can get this thing into a block of ice, and then smash it out of the block. You know, not gently. We'll probably drop it on concrete to get it out of there, but just freeze it in there and then see if it works, and then go from there. All right, guys, froze the Wowtac overnight. Man, I can't even see it in there. You can kind of see it through the haze. But now we'll try to break it and let it thaw a little and test it out. All right, it's been out here and still turns on, man. Can't see it. Seems to work through all its modes. It's definitely a little beat up, and I obviously wasn't being gentle with it. Looks like I got a little rust on the button there, but man, okay, so it works. I'll turn it off here. Let's keep beating this thing up. Guys out in the street here, let's see if we can chuck this sucker. A little banged up here on the corner, that's for sure. A little concrete on there, little gouge. And a little gouge here on the butt plate. Still works. How about as high as we can throw it? Looks like I took another little bite out of the bottom end. Still works. You got a bunch of strobe there. Alright guys, at a parking lot, I was trying to figure out where I could torture test this thing even more, as you can see. Still works. I thought I'd kind of bowl it into this parking lamp post here. See if we can kind of get some heavy impact. Let's try this. Somehow I don't think this is going to be torturous enough to really shut this thing down. I'm getting some pretty good smacks on it. Fortunately, even though it has a little condensation from the ice, it still works just fine. Wonder if I can just throw it right into the post. Starting to look a little beat up. No problems working. I know we said we'd do this thing to failure, but I'm not entirely sure that I can get it to failure at this point. So, still turns on, and I am pretty impressed with that. I guess, you know, my thoughts are, you know, the aluminum construction on this flashlight and any real tactical flashlight is going to take a beating when coming in contact with or impacting really hard surfaces, so that's not going to be surprising. You can't blame aluminum for that. You know, the whole thing looks pretty gnarly in some areas. It definitely wasn't gentle with it, but it still powers on. And you know, here the crystal isn't even broken, so, and it's very usable. I mean, the fact that most of the impact is going to happen on the edge where you're not holding it, you know, you don't have to worry about kind of shaved aluminum being in your hand. Now, one thing I will say is that I guess I thought maybe, especially in those impacts, you know, throwing it down the street, throwing it high on the concrete, bowling it into concrete walls would dislodge either, you know, the LED element or some of the electronics inside, but obviously it still runs. So, you know, the impact, you know, claims that Wowtac makes about it being dropped and not having a problem, I think are more than conservative. You can really kind of beat this sucker up and have a flashlight that's going to keep on running. So, you know, despite how tough or how bad shape it looks, you know, I'll probably still put it in my drawer, keep it as a backup. But I think you can buy these things knowing that you're getting a lot of value for not a lot of money, because these flashlights from Wowtac tend to be really good value on top of that as well. So I really feel like these could be purchased with peace of mind, knowing that, you know, whatever you face out in the wilderness is probably not going to be as tough as this is out here. Now, I could shoot it with a gun or something like that too, but I don't know. Lithium battery and things like that, I feel like it's going to blow up on me. But this one didn't. So kudos to the guys at Wowtac, man. I really impressed not only with the products and how they work, but how well they hold up to a lot of abuse. There it is. Wowtac A3. Peter Von Panda. Out.